Imagine living in a metal coffin, 200 feet below the surface of the ocean, hunted by destroyers, air running thin, walls dripping with salt water. That was life inside Hitler's deadliest weapons, the wolves beneath the sea. Midnight, North Atlantic, depth 220 feet. A man whispers a prayer. Another clenches a photograph. The whole groans, something alive. And then, the ping. They call these men the Wolfpack, Hitler's predators of the deep. But inside these subs, there are no predators, only hunted men pretending not to be afraid. Because history never dies. It just echoes, especially down here, where even your heartbeat can give you away. 52 men, one steel tube, no sunlight, no escape. For weeks, they live like ghosts. The smell of oil, sweat, and fear never leaves. You sleep beside torpedoes. You eat from rusted tins. The air is so thick with carbon dioxide that a single candle can't stay lit. And above, somewhere in the darkness, British destroyers sweep the ocean with sonar, searching for the faint echo of your life. Each man knows the math. A single depth charge can crush them flat in less than a second, and still they dive again. Why? Because Donitz, the sea wolf himself, told them the future of Germany lived down here. He called them the Knights of the Deep. But knights need air, and these men were drowning in their own courage. When the wolf packs worked, they were unstoppable. They stalked Allied convoys like ghosts. One sub would find prey, send coded signals through the Enigma, and then the rest would close in. Dozens of torpedoes slicing through black water, each one a whisper of death. Ships burned, oil slicks stretched for miles. In a single month, over 600,000 tons of Allied shipping vanished beneath the waves. The men inside the U-boats barely cheered. They'd stare through the periscope, watch fire bloom across the horizon, and then sink back into the darkness, knowing tomorrow they could be next. Because the ocean doesn't take sides, it just echoes your mistakes. Inside the boat, time breaks. Hours stretch into eternity. Every sound feels like betrayal. The creak of metal, the hiss of air. Someone coughs, and a dozen eyes snap toward him. They whisper, "Quiet, they'll hear us." Above them, destroyers circle. Ping, ping, ping. The water trembles, then explosions. Depth charges thundering down through the black. Men grab pipes, brace for impact. The walls bend inward, screws fly loose. Someone screams, and then silence. Only the echo remains. That echo is history itself, reminding them that every empire believes it can command the sea, until the sea decides otherwise. The men breathe recycled air and ration every drop of fresh water. They can't bathe. They can't stretch. They'll sleep in 6-hour shifts, sharing bunks still warm from the last man's body. They play cards beside torpedoes, sing to drown out fear, and pretend the stench isn't death. But fear doesn't stay buried. One false sonar reading, one depth charge too close, and panic spreads like fire. There were men who clawed at the hatches, begging to surface. Others went catatonic, eyes open, minds gone. Down here, courage and madness are separated by one breath. And still, they dive again. Because to surface is to die. To dive is to live another hour. And survival becomes victory enough. By 1942, the Wolfpacks ruled the Atlantic. The Allies were bleeding ships faster than they could build them. Britain's food was running out. Churchill said, "The only thing that ever frightened me was the U-boat peril." But while the wolves hunted above, something else was hunting them below: their own exhaustion. The human body wasn't made for weeks underwater. Men lost weight, lost sanity. Some kept journals filled with letters they'd never send, letters that never surfaced. Their commander, Karl Donitz, promised them victory. Instead, he gave them a slow death under the waves. When the Allies cracked Enigma, the tides turned. Now the hunters became the hunted. Aircraft prowled the skies with radar. Destroyers fired depth charges in patterns designed to crush. For every ship sunk, 3 U-boats went down. The Atlantic floor became a cemetery of steel. Of 40,000 U-boat sailors, 30,000 never came home, the highest death rate of any German branch. They called themselves wolves, but wolves hunt in packs, and by 1944, there were no packs left, only ghosts. Ghosts that whisper still, because history never dies, it just echoes. Imagine being trapped in that darkness, feeling the walls breathe with you, knowing that one sound, just one cough, could end 50 lives. What did they think about? Home? Warm light. The sound of wind not made by propellers. They were not villains or heroes. They were boys thrown into the belly of the sea, told they were invincible, until the ocean taught them humility. And when the war ended, their commander, Donitz, became Germany's last leader, a sea wolf ruling over a sunken empire. The Wolfpacks never rose again, but their legacy did. Their encrypted signals gave birth to computers. Their sonar warfare led to the radar that guards our skies today. Their terror beneath the waves reshaped how nations fight, spy, and survive. They thought they were fighting for a future empire. Instead, they helped create the digital world we live in. That's the cruel irony of war. Even the lost can leave an echo that changes everything. And if you listen deep beneath the sea, you can still hear it. The hum of engines, the distant ping of sonar, a whisper of men who refuse to surface. Because history never dies. It just echoes. Subscribe for more echoes from the shadows of history.